Greetings, everyone. On Speed Gaming tonight, we are here for a Link to the Past Randomizer main tournament match between Relkin and Azder. It's game one of their match. This is the second round of groups. So the winner of this round of groups will go on to brackets, and the loser will have one more chance to make it to brackets. Relkin is a 1 seed, Azder's a 3 seed, but both these runners are actually extremely good, so this should be a very good match tonight. I'm joined in the booth by Drossi. How are you doing tonight, Drossi?
I'm doing good. I'm excited for this matchup. It really should be quite a race, I would think. As you said, these are both really good runners, and it's a really good group in general.
Yeah. Who are the other runners in this group? I can't remember.
So Relkin beat Hydropower and Azder beat Orange, and it was 2-1 in both cases, and those are both, solid runners. By
Yeah.
no means did these guys have freebies last round.
Yeah, that's a very competitive group. But yeah, Relkin and Azder are just beasts, and Relkin in particular won SGL, so he's coming off that big win, looking to follow up his performance with a deep run in this tournament. So we'll see what happens.
And Azder also got to take home some prizes money at SGL. He was runner-up in the SMZ3 tournament there.
Yeah, I know he's big in the Super Metroid community, so great at multiple games.
And we're going to have a very bad time.
Why do you say that?
Uncle said that.
Oh. Yeah, I never read the Uncle text.
Come on, it's the best part of the seed.
Oh, quick map check there. It looked like Hera was a pendant, but I couldn't make out much else.
Well, let's see if I can catch it on the second go-round.
I think the other two were crystals, but not 100% sure.
Yeah, the other two are regular crystals.
Okay. Yeah, so Kana Samaria start. That's one of the more interesting options in the escape. You'll see a lot of different strategies here. Somebody that knows what they're doing could maybe save like 10 seconds versus somebody just kind of winging it. It's also a nice item to have. It can be in one of the more obnoxious items to find later on in the match, so it's always nice to have it early on.
Yeah, meanwhile, seeing those drops from the guards, I don't think we're getting bombs off of them.
Yeah, as soon as you can kind of figure out what price pack you're dealing with, you know whether or not you'll get a bomb. So they might just stop trying to farm them if they are knowledgeable about their prize packs.
But it also means you're that much less likely to be able to do the back of escape this time through.
Yeah, the kind of good thing about the randomizer now is that both runners, the prize packs for the guards they're going to be the same. So if there's no bombs in the prize packs, well, both runners have the same issue. So you can't get too unlucky in that respect anymore. In the old days, I think it was just pretty much total RNG, but not anymore.
So there's our sewers key sitting in that second chest, which means that, and we got a map in the map chest. So that means everything else here is going to be an item.
Yep, and there will be 3 items in the back. If they don't get a bomb, they'll have to come back for later.
Maybe if we're lucky, there'll even be a weapon or some bombs.
Looks like Roken is... Okay. I'm not sure. I don't know if he's killing the guard because it was just in the way or he's still trying to get bombs, but...
Well, bomb problem was solved by Zelda's chest.
Yeah, there you go. Both runners are happy to see that.
You know, one thing I miss, I was just thinking with these runner sprites, one thing I miss about not having armor upgrades in hard item pool is you don't get to watch the sprites turn into other forms.
Oh yeah, because of the no mail upgrades. But yeah, I guess we'll never know what else Luigi has in it, or that's Mario. What else Mario's got in his closet?
Well, he may turn into Luigi, and I know one of his upgrades gives Fire Mario, and meanwhile, Azder using Parallel Worlds Link, does he still just go blue and red like any other Link, or does he do something different? We don't know.
Yeah, so Azure with a small lead here, going in the back. I think it was maybe just a little bit more effective usage of the cane, but it's not really that significant.
Well,
But
also, Azure hasn't done the map check, has he?
yeah, but Relkin probably didn't lose more than like 1 second on that. That was so fast I couldn't even see anything.
And back here we've got a hook shot, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. You can use it to speed up movement around the map a little bit early on, if you know what tiles or what objects are hookshotable.
I'm surprised Azure didn't just hookshot the rats.
That's a good point.
Okay, money and health there. Oh, and nice play on Relkin's part. I guess he knew the prize pack well enough to know that he was due for a full magic.
All right, well, a sub-6 escape here. Samara is a pretty solid time. Relkin shortly behind him.
And now we have a bow and no arrows.
Yeah, now Azur's doing that. Sees Crystal Eastern, but looks like he's gonna put that off for later.
And Relkin, did you forget you already have the map?
Wait, did he actually just not open that?
He actually just not opened it.
Oh, man, you hate to see it.
And you're teammates with this clown.
Hey, that is correct. But hopefully, I really hope that doesn't become an issue. That is just a really unfortunate way to lose a race.
Like, he must have forgotten that he already pulled the map and thought that chest had the map in it.
Yeah, that's why I always check that chest, no matter what, because I don't want to lose a race off of, skipping something. Oh, there's our hammer.
I think this is an Agaseed.
That looks like it is definitely going to be an Agaseed there. Hammer being 100% required, so...
This might force Relkin to rethink that chest sooner rather than later, because we're going to need the boots, we're going to need access to Aga Tower, and quite a bit of the game is hammer locked. So, for example, if, say, Armos Knights leads to that, Relkin's going to be forced to get that bow.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if he just like literally runs out of locations early on, he will be forced to eventually just get that. But there's also the possibility of the other bow showing up somewhere, fortuitous for Relkin. Not a super high chance, but early on, it definitely could happen.
And meanwhile, all we've seen in Keck so far is that there is a bottle in Blind's Hut, which will let us check Sick Kid while we're going through here.
Yeah, bottle's really nice to have on hard mode because, well, you just tend to lose life at a high rate with only green mail, and some of these boss fights can be pretty scary. So you're never unhappy to see a bottle early on.
And we're already getting quite a bit of life. That's another full heart container in the well. And okay, so that was either a mail upgrade or the other bow on Bottle Vendor, and when Relkin goes there, we're about to find out which one.
Yeah, I think that's correct. I don't. Yeah. So if that's the bow, I mean that's
That
that's some.
that's ridiculous if it winds up being the bow.
Yeah. What was that, like a 1 in 3 chance?
Yeah.
Another heart container and sick kid, so we got a pretty healthy seed going so far. Oh, and there it is! Wow.
I can't believe that bailout.
All right. Well, yeah, Relkin bailed out there a little bit, but I'm honestly glad that he found that bow there, because you would hate to see the race come down to something like skipping the bow, or yeah, skipping Sanctuary Chest.
And hey, now we know where both bows are.
Yeah. And he saved 2 seconds in Sanctuary, so checkmate. Yeah, I think one thing to note that's kind of in Relkin's favor right now is he does know about the hammer. So if this does end up being a MITS for Dark World Access Seed, he will have that information advantage and be able to go to Lumberjack as soon as he gets the boots and Aga access. I'm also noticing I don't think that azder is quick swapping at all, so he might be one of the players that just doesn't quick swap. So Relkin is very proficient in quick swap, so he's just going to kind of get grinded down a little bit here and there over the course of the seed.
Yeah, I was actually discussing this with Relkin before the match, that he was thinking since, yeah, azder doesn't use quick swap. I don't know if that's an SMZ3 thing. Like, is there no quick swap in SMZ3?
If I had to guess, that sounds pretty reasonable that there isn't, and so maybe he's just used to menuing. But yeah, quick swap definitely, if you're good at it, will save you probably a couple minutes, if not more, because there's a lot of like quick swap specific strategies. Like you see how Relkin always has the hook shot out, and he's able to save a little bit of time here and there. So it does add up over the course of the race.
So what's also interesting is that Relkin is deciding to follow that bow. And azder, meanwhile, has gotten the lamp in Mini Moldorm Cave, which would actually put Eastern in logic.
Oh, Relkin gets the boots, though.
Yeah, so what we're looking for immediately now is either one sword and a cape or two swords, and that'll be our Aga access, and then we can get that hammer.
Yeah, the nice thing about getting those boots there is I'm sure Relkin's going to do the South Shore checks probably after Eastern here. And he'll be able to water walk potentially, and he's even got Zora money, so he could potentially do those checks as well pretty quickly. Yeah,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, given that we don't even have a glove at this point, and we're basically just a sword away from Aga access, we're probably going to get... this is going to be just the Aga required for Dark World access seed, so I would expect azder to check Lumberjack Cave before too long.
Yeah, now what'll be interesting is if we still don't get the Moon Pearl, but we got Death Mountain access through, say, the Flute, we could wind up having to go up there and potentially even use the hammer to get over to Hera area.
Chat pointing out that there is a glove in library. I missed that. So they actually do have even more options.
Oh.
So yeah.
So that puts Death Mountain fully in action. Well, not fully because we don't yet have the hammer, but most of Death Mountain's in.
Yeah, I mean, East Death Mountain and West Death Mountain. Well, not actually. No, they can't get to. They can't get to Hera yet, but yeah, they can get a bunch more checks up there.
And there's our Moon Pearl. So, yeah, Azder's gonna gain a little bit of time with these dark rooms. I don't care how good you are at dark rooms. A good runner with a lamp is going to go through faster than a good runner without a lamp.
Yeah, that's definitely true. The dark rooms Relkin just went through is probably not too big of a difference, but the one in the back here with the Igor can definitely be much faster with a lamp. And it's also a little bit dangerous with absolutely no fire source, because if you get like bumped at the last second when you're shooting the bow, like all these enemies do like a lot of damage very early on. But looks like Relkin getting through here no problem.
Yeah, I think we got all 3 items though. But hey, it's a crystal, so you want to get it all in one go and be 1 crystal in.
Yeah, I mean, usually you get the bow early if it's a crystal dungeon. There's just it's hard to argue for not just full clearing crystal dungeons that are available. So it's a pretty logical choice for them both to come over here.
And Relkin does a very nice quick kill there. Okay, there was a 3rd item, but it didn't do much for us. Okay, what's Relkin gonna do now? Probably pick up the glove at some point, but he'd have to run over there first. Maybe do the shovel on the way to picking up the glove? Oh no, he's doing regular South Shore.
Yeah, he's gonna do South Shore here. He can pretty much full clear it, including the water checks. Since he has the Moon Pearl, he can doesn't have to worry about Waterfall Fairy like glitching out and setting him back into the flipper state. So yeah, this is it's a pretty solid option.
And Azder gets an equally clean quick kill on our most knights.
Yeah, both these guys are very proficient execution runners. I don't expect to see many mistakes on either of their part.
And now Relkin's going to be like, oh, so that's where the lamp was. And it looks like Azder is going to do the shovel check. Oh, skipping the shovel check. Okay. I don't know
yeah,
why.
he probably just forgot he has it. Sometimes, you like tunnel vision on getting a particular item and you forget about the other one you already got.
But... Oh, and I totally forgot that we saw the cape there next to the lamp. So we're really just a sword away from Aga access.
Yeah, I would guess there's probably one on Death Mountain, but we'll have to see. Hopefully a dig spot.
Yeah, we have things like dig spot and bonk rocks to check as well. Vanilla Bonk Rocks. Looks like Relkin's going to do some water walking here.
Yep. So if you dash down the side of that hallway there on the edge, and then you dash into the water, you just get to walk on the water for whatever reason.
And it's worth noting...
Go ahead.
What were you going to say?
You can go ahead.
I was just going to say that it's worth noting that Azder went straight into Old Man Cave without first checking Lumberjack, so he still doesn't know about that hammer.
That's a very interesting observation because he has the lamp and the boots, so you're right next to it. I don't know. That's if you're ever gonna check it. I mean, he might suspect that it's gonna be an Agaseed anyway, and so he's just like waiting to do Aga. I'm not sure.
Powder on Old Man's interesting because we know we're going to have the hammer fairly soon, and that'll put Magic Bat in logic.
Oh, look at that! Ice Rod on Hobo. That's it's a nice find for Relkin. Hobo is not something a lot of runners prioritize. If you don't do it kind of early on when Relkin's doing it, it could be a while before Azder gets that.
And Relkin also planned this all out. He stored the water walk until after Hobo, so that he could use it here.
Yeah, that's what I was going to point out earlier, is because a lot of runners will just jump down before, and then they'll run over, but he actually wants to preserve the water walk.
And then he gets a piece of heart that fills up his hearts and ruins his water walk, but he's...
Yeah, but he has the Moon Pearl, thankfully, so he's able to get it back. Because for whatever reason, if you have the Moon Pearl... Was that a glove?
That's our other glove, yes.
Our Out of Logic glove. Wow, that's a great find for Relkin. Well, hopefully he knows how to reset his Ancilla state, so he can actually get it, because he did just kill Armos.
These items are just coming fast and furious. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, okay, so right now, he just dropped those bombs in the water to reset this Ancilla state. I'm not an expert on it, but basically that allows him to do this glitch he's about to do, where he can get into the fake flipper state by basically overloading the screen with sprites, so that it just allows him to swim.
And we should note that that particular location is more difficult than anywhere else, because you have to overload it not just to jump in the water, but then to continue swimming when you go over the waterfall.
Yeah, the timing is very tight on that. You have to be real fast and know exactly where to do the setup.
So I know Relkin checked library. He knows where the mitts are. But that means we also have Dark World access.
Yeah,
out of logic.
Out of logic, Dark World access, but still, it is Agaseed, so Azder theoretically won't get punished too hard for that, because he eventually, I mean, he's going to have to do it to get the hammer, but he didn't even check Lumberjack Cave, so yeah, I don't know where this is going, but eventually Azder's going to get forced to do Aga, I guess, or get the flippers. Oh, there's the flippers.
You did say the flippers, so I guess he'll get his Ice Rod and his mitts pretty quickly.
Yeah, no, that's really good for him and sets him in the right direction here.
And Relkin's gone a full clear desert. He can fight Landmos with a combination of that bow and that Ice Rod.
Yeah, it's another crystal to knock out, and you got the boots, so you can definitely full clear it. You even got the Ice Rod, so that the actual Amolos fight will be decently fast if he's able to magically, or if he's able to actually land them. Worth noting that Azder did skip Hobo. Maybe he's going to go back for that later, but yeah.
Maybe Turtle Rock's a pendant.
Maybe. It's got a 1 in 3 chance at this point.
I mean, given how Relkin got bailed out with that second bow, Azder could just as easily get bailed out with Turtle Rock being a pendant.
Yeah, this seed is kind of bailing out everybody at this point, actually. We'll see who finally gets punished first.
Relkin, you don't have the small key. That was the big key. The small key's in the big chest.
Well, he's about to find that out very shortly.
Like now.
Yeah. I mean, under pressure, you know, mistakes happen. I'm sure both of these guys feel a lot of pressure on this race because they are both very good, and this is a pretty even matchup, I'd say.
Oh, so azder is now taking those mitts, and he's going to do Dark Death Mountain.
Yeah, he's already done the other side, but you know, these are some pretty quick checks. So,
and 6 more items and knowledge of the Turtle Rock Medallion.
Yeah, sadly, he's not going to find the hammer, which is probably what he's really hoping for here.
Oh, bailed out, as I said. That is our green pendant.
Yeah, Relkin did find a sword just now, so that means he can get that hammer basically whenever he wants.
And by the way, Pod and Swamp were our 5/6 crystals, with Ice Palace being our third pendant.
Yeah. What is worth noting, it is green pendant, so there could be up to 3 items locked behind that, you know, between the ped, the actual green pendant turn-in, and the boss items itself. So probably won't come into play, but you never know.
Did we find anything interesting on Right Side Desert? I'm assuming not. I don't see any. Sword!
Yeah, it was a sword.
So I bet Relkin does Aga after this to get that hammer.
Yeah, that would be pretty logical. Hopefully he didn't forget about that glove, but he doesn't really need it for anything right now, so he'll just pick it up whenever he feels like it, I guess.
And Turtle Rock is Ether, not that we've seen any medallions yet. So now we'll see an interesting Landmo fight. Ice Rod is just as effective as Fire Rod on Landmo, but it fires a lot slower.
All right, 2 cycle. It's pretty good fight with the Ice Rod. It is a little tricky to land that on them. So, solid fight by Relkin.
And hey, that's 2 crystals under half an hour.
Yeah, that's the seed's going pretty fast so far. I already got a lot of big major items that have opened this up quite a bit. But yeah, I think the big thing right now is just how long is it going to take azder to find that hammer? Because that glove being in logic is actually kind of bad for him, because there's a lot of things he can check now that he's got Darkwold access with the mitts. So it could be a while before he makes it over to Lumberjack.
And it looks like Relkin does remember the shovel and presumably also the second glove. So azder bailed out, skipping the dig check. The rate at which these runners are getting bailed out is really ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just make your own luck, and you know, it works out. All right, yeah, he's remembering to go get his glove. So, yeah, he's got a ton of options. He's probably gonna go get that hammer, and then yeah, he's got the whole world basically.
Also, shoutouts to our tracker, Serio X, for keeping track of all these items as they come on fast and furious.
Yeah, doing a great job. There's been a lot of items so far, so, and some very divergent routing as well. Well, that's a ether medallion, so we can get into TR. Can't really check a whole lot without the fire rod, and it's not really a place we want to go. But yeah, that ice rod is very, very slowly creeping into relevance.
And we've also got a prediction going now, everyone's second favorite thing to throw numbers into chat about. How many blue balls will Agahnim give us?
Yeah, I'll go with 2. Oh, as they're taking an overworld death there. No fairies. That's going to cost them some time. Overworld deaths are generally pretty expensive because you can't just restart at the beginning of the dungeon.
I wonder if this will make him think to check Lumberjack.
No, not interested.
Is he waiting until Aga's actually in logic?
Perhaps. But I think at this point, like, if you don't check it when you have the boots and the lamp and you're standing next to it, it's kind of just like I'm writing this off for the rest of the game. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, with the items he has opened up quite a lot of the world, so it may be a while. And now he's opened up more of the world.
Yeah, the mirror, even more stuff for him to do, but won't be able to go too far into Swamp. Hopefully about the time where he's left with like the choices of Ice Palace with no hammer and Swamp with no hammer and Pod with no hammer, maybe he goes back and checks for that, but yeah, we'll have to see.
So here's our Agahnim fight, and do we think Azder will go into Thieves Town without the hammer? At least to do the front four. Yeah, here he goes.
I believe that was 1 blue ball so far.
Yep, and that was Bombos in Thieves Town, as we get a second blue ball. Bombos isn't really what you want to see because that's Pendant Ice Palace access.
Yeah, that's correct. Opening up even more stuff for Azder to do.
Except you'd first need a sword to actually use Bombos.
That's true. Yeah, Relkin got his sword in Desert, so I would guess that Azder will probably make this Dark World loop and do all the Smith Chain stuff, and then probably head over to Desert after turning in Purple Chest. And then he'll get a sword.
We're up to 4 blue balls already. Or 5. 6. This is not a good day for... Okay, that's our last.
Yeah, fortunately, though, both runners in the randomizer are guaranteed to have the same number of blue balls. So Azder won't like get lucky and only have 1 blue ball or something like that, unlike, say, NMG.
But yeah, I can't remember the last time I saw 7 blue balls.
All right, we got... Yeah, okay. Relkin doing a map check. I think we already knew that. I think this is the first time he's actually been in a Dark World, so 33 minutes. It's kind of late, but he also has 2 crystals done, so he probably feels pretty good.
Yeah, and he's going for Catfish, it looks like.
Yeah, there's not really a better time to do this check. I think it makes sense.
And you know where the hammer is. You don't want to do pod until you have the hammer.
Yeah, so you either save and quit there and you just orphan Catfish forever, or you just do it now.
And then when Relkin grabs that mirror, he'll have to remember, speaking of save and quit, that after that, he will save and quit to the Dark World.
All right,
Okay.
that's...
Catfish was a good play.
Yeah, getting a sword there. A lot of runners will put off Catfish for a very long time as well, so that's another check that's kind of out of the way. That's come up with an item here.
So I haven't been counting items in Thieves Town. I know there were 2 in the front. Have we seen one in the back yet?
I am not 100% sure, but we will find out very shortly. Yeah, Azder with no sword here, gonna have to rely on Samaria block strats. This fight is not super easy, especially with 3 hearts. I don't remember if he's got any safeties. He's got 3 bottles, but...
Well, so far so good through the first 2. I think one of the bottles has red goo.
Okay. Ooh. All right. Okay. Very nice fight there under low HP, having to rely on Samaria strats. Relkin will have a faster fight though, because he has a sword. But still, getting the job done there, getting out without a death is pretty huge for him.
Relkin will also be able to open the big chest, which I think does have an item. Since Blind just dropped the compass.
Okay. Yeah, so yeah, there's an item left in the big chest is what you're saying?
Unless I miscounted, I think the map came up.
Yeah, so that's another skip that Azder's gonna have to dodge here. But he does get a crystal, so he's making progress.
I mean, given how this seed has been, I fully expect Azure to be bailed, and there's nothing in that big chest, but we'll find out.
It's not getting bailed out on that hammer, so...
True. And Relkin with that hammer will also be able to check Magic Bat at some point when he goes back to the Kakariko area.
Yeah, so this is, I guess, his first trip up the mountain. So he's going to be able to clear the whole thing basically in one go, which is, that's going to be very efficient routing for him. As they're going to have to make multiple trips because he wasn't even able to do anything on the Hera side. I mean, Hera's a pendant, and if there's nothing there, maybe he skips it, gets away with that. But Relkin's going to be able to do everything up here.
And Relkin's even gonna do Spike Cave. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, why not? He's got the cape, so it's in logic, and he's just gonna save and quit out of here and restart at the old man, and he'll even be able to refill his magic in Super Money Cave. So, if you're gonna do it, you might as well do it now.
For other checks we might not be thinking about, since he got that second sword off of Catfish, he'll be able to pull whatever's on Ether Tablet. Or he's just not doing the mountain now. Hype Cave?
Was there even anything up on the mountain? Like, I mean, because I know Azder did check pretty much everything on the east side, and I don't really recall him actually getting anything too valuable over there. So maybe Relkin's just not gonna get punished for that. But that is kind of an unusual skip because there's such a high dense area. But
well, Hype Cave's gonna pay off for Relkin because he can now do Skull Woods in one go.
The fire rod was in here? Oh.
Right there, yeah.
All right. We're what, like a flute and maybe a medallion for Meyer for go mode knowledge, at least for the commentators.
Also have all 4 bottles.
Yeah, it's a very safe seed. Maybe you'll see one of the runners flute over there and fill those up at some point. But I will say that having 4 bottles actually gets kind of annoying if you're quick swapping, because it just adds more stuff to the menu that you have to quick swap over. So there
By,
is
by
some
the
downside.
by the way, weren't the flips on Death Mountain?
Yes, they were in Spiral Cave. So
Okay, because we were discussing whether Relkin had missed
yeah.
anything by not doing EDM.
Yeah, no, it's good to point out. So yeah, he isn't gonna get those slippers yet. But that's just not a. You just don't put off the whole mountain for like an hour. So he's gonna go back there sooner or later.
Okay, this is getting interesting too. Azder, having gotten his ice rod now, which hopefully the runners won't need for Trinex, is joining Relkin in pod, but without the hammer.
Yeah, at this point, since he's gonna have to double dip this, he's really starting to bleed a lot of time to Relkin by not getting that hammer. So, yeah, it's basically just all bad news from here for Azder. Especially since Relkin's in the dungeon at the same time, so it's not like he's gonna find anything here that Relkin's gonna skip.
And, I'm sure he's going to do Skull Woods and Thieves and Village of Outcasts after this, because 2 crystal dungeons he can do. And at that point, he'll get his mirror, and I guess that's both Ether and Bombos we found in that area.
Yeah. I think Ether was...
And that could be our no mode. That flute that we just saw.
Yeah, there's a pretty high chance of that at this point, which means Relkin would just have to do basically Village Outcast and go up the mountain and get his slippers, which is pretty high priority checks that you're not going to put off for a long time.
So that glitch we saw Relkin do with the Cane of Samaria to run through the blocks, do you know how that works? Because I still don't totally get it.
The one where you go up the staircase?
Yeah, where you lay down a Samaria block and go up the staircase through the orange blocks.
I've done it a few times. I don't remember the exact mechanics of it. You have to get close to the edge where you jump down and dash and hold a certain direction while putting down a block or something. I don't know why it works, is ultimately what I'm gonna say. But I do know it's not actually super easy to pull off, and if you screw it up, the beetles just go and harass you, and you kind of have to reset that whole area. So props to him for getting that.
Yeah, and that's an example of something Azder wasn't able to do because he doesn't have the hammer, so he wasn't able to jump down that ledge. And Relkin's now in a little bit of a jam just because he skipped 3 chests on in the front of pod because he knew they were all small keys, but now he doesn't want to have to go back for them, so he wants to hammer yump to save his 1 remaining small key for getting to Helmasaur. But he missed the hammer yump the first time.
Yeah, I guess he has to do this to avoid going down right side again, I think, is how that works out. But okay, so he gets it this time. That jump, you have to... It's basically an exact pixel alignment, so it's pretty tricky to get. And but yeah, he gets it on his... Was it second or third try?
Second.
Second.
Yeah,
okay.
The problem is, since he came from the top, he can't just... If you come from the bottom and fail hammer yump, you just go back out the bottom and you reset the room. If you come from the top, the compass room is in the same super tile, so you actually have to go downstairs.
Yeah. So yeah, Relkin taking a Death Warp here to go back to the front. Doesn't have the mirror, so lose a little time to that, but it's not really important at this point.
Oh, so he was saving that key for the middle door, and now he'll get another key from the bridge chest to go to Helma.
Yeah, basically, if he didn't do that hammer jump, he would have had to go all the way down right side again, which is a pretty big time loss. All right, azder leaving Sanctuary here. Hopefully, hopefully this is a lumberjack check somehow, but it's probably just flute
No.
activation. Yeah.
As soon as I saw him adjust downward, I was like, no, this isn't lumberjack.
Yeah. The good news is the Meyer does not require the hammer, so he can do it if he has the medallion. He still doesn't have a sword either, though, so that would be a very rough fight.
And there's no reason he can't go to desert and get his sword.
That's true. He's got the mirror, so I expect he'll probably go desert first.
Yep, flute to 6. And we'll find out the Meyer medallion, too. That is Bombos.
Yep, that's Bombos. So, yeah, if relkin just kind of plays pretty like standard normally, he's gonna be in go mode pretty soon. Just has to basically do some. Where was Bombos? It was like Village Outcast or something like that.
Yeah, it was either Village of Outcasts or Thieves, and it was Thieves. Now I remember, and Ether was in Skullwoods.
Okay.
Not that we need Ether, since
Yeah.
we're in no mode.
Yeah, so he just basically has to do Thieves Town and then go up the mountain at some point. I think the mirror was in Chest Game?
Yeah, sounds right. Or else Brewery, one of those places. azder, I guess, hoping that there would be the small key in the map chest and he wouldn't need to backtrack, because I was a bit surprised he didn't just go for the big chest after grabbing the big key.
Alright, relkin activating his flute here. Probably he's gonna... Maybe he's gonna go check Meyer Medallion? I'm not sure. He doesn't have any medallions at this point at all, so he would not be able to do it if he had it. But it's always good to get that information, so we'll see what he does.
I mean, I would still expect, yeah, especially since he's here anyway. He's just going to do CAC Portal. He'll do Skullwoods and Thieves Town and Village of Outcasts.
Yeah. As they're finally picking up a sword at 47 minutes into the race, that always feels a little bad when you're feel like you're playing swordless.
But now he knows that Aga's in logic, so I wonder if that'll finally be his impetus to check Lumberjack.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I feel like with so much of the game open at this point, like that's just not, it's not really on your mind. So I'm not optimistic there.
And there's Relkin's Bombos, so he is flippers away from go mode, which we know are on East Death Mountain. So this is a blessed seed that, even if it is an Aga seed, it doesn't require you to touch a pendant dungeon.
Yeah, a lot of Aga seeds are not bad seeds. They can be very fast, especially if you get a lot of the items early on.
So the question is just, when does Relkin do East Death Mountain? Because it could be a while. I could easily see him going to Meyer first.
Yeah, at this point, he's probably just going to do Crystal Dungeons, but it really doesn't matter too much because I do think he is pretty far ahead at this point. But yeah, I mean, you can't really go too wrong doing crystal dungeons.
Yeah, really, his worst case scenario at this point is it's a Godmire and he winds up full clearing it.
Yeah, and then Azder comes back later somehow. But I think Azder's probably just going to go full clear Mire right now too, because I mean he actually, it's one of the few somewhat optimal things he can do. Yeah, he's going in right now, so he's gonna have to do Fighter Sword Vitreous fight, which is not fun. But yeah, we'll see if he's got any cool strats up his sleeve for that fight.
At least he has the cape for it.
Question in chat: what triggers Aga being in logic? If you have the lamp and either the cape and fighter sword or master sword, then it is in logic. So yeah, both of these runners having at least the cape, lamp, and a sword means it's in logic. And lumberjack is in logic if you have all of that plus the boots. So
I'm just thinking the other unfortunate thing for azder, just given the layout of this seed, is he did not think to check catfish after finishing pod.
yeah, I would say that if you're going to do catfish, like instead of going to pod, you could have just done pyramid and route that into catfish and then go back later for pod since you don't even have the hammer anyway. But yeah, putting that off is, I mean, who knows where the other two swords are? So there's a high chance he ends up on master sword for Ganon.
Speaking of master sword, this is giving relkin a much more textbook blind fight since he's able to use the master sword.
Yeah, this fight is a lot easier with a sword, so and you can see he also saved a decent amount of time on that fight. It's one thing runners don't always think about is how much time you're losing on slow boss fights, because it does add up quite a bit. You know, you can lose a couple minutes over the course of a race if you just lose 10-15 seconds on every fight.
Okay, so I guess he'll do C-shaped house and then move up into Skull Woods. Yeah. Okay, so it is definitely not a Godmire if Big Key is in map room. You're clearing most of it anyway.
Where was the big key? Where's map room? Which one's that?
The one south of Spike Room.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that. Yeah, some people will skip cutscene chest there and just hope it's over on that side because cutscene chest is like the slowest chest in the universe. But
yeah, and Azure also found both items in the process, so yeah, he actually has full cleared Mire once he finishes Vitreous.
yeah, so as they're about to have to do a fighter sword Vitreous fight here, worth pointing out the fighter sword slashes don't damage the boss, so he will have to use spins or potentially arrows and bombs. I'm not sure how many potions he has. He's just opting to kind of face tank here. It looks like he's got at least one.
Well, the one in Hype Cave was Blue Goose, so he's got at least another that way.
Okay. So yeah, he's got plenty of like resources to heal himself, but it's a lot of fighter sword spins.
Honestly, he's at the point where, as he says it, he does exactly what I was going to suggest. I was saying I'd probably just shift to arrows here, and before I could even get it out of my mouth, he did.
Yeah, 30 arrows isn't quite enough to kill all the small eyeballs and the big eyeball usually. So I think a lot of people just try to get rid of a few of the small ones and then switch to arrow strats. But yeah, that was actually a very nice fight by Azder. Relkin, meanwhile, also taking care of Mothula. Yeah, that fight's not quite as scary with Master Sword and a hammer and a fire rod.
Which is what the game expects you to have at that point.
That's true.
Oh, and we're getting a ped check just because we're in the neighborhood and Relkin doesn't know about those flippers yet.
Yeah, so Meyer here is going to be the last crystal he's able to complete. Before he basically has to decide to do something else. And without the flippers, his options are actually pretty limited. So I think you'll see him go up the mountain at that point.
Right. The nice thing is, since he is just flippers from Go mode, he knows the answer isn't an Ice Palace.
Yeah. Relkin getting the dash there in Meyer Shed. I think there's exactly one frame where if you start your dash, you can dash down the middle without getting hit by those the enemy in that room.
So where's Azder going now? Did he ever do the shovel spot?
No, I don't think so. Not that I can remember. I don't think he's. I don't. Did he do the Smith chain at all? Like I'm not. Okay, chat saying our tracker saying that Azure did do shuffle.
Okay.
So I'm just not paying attention.
But he might be doing Smith chain now, as you were just saying.
I'm not sure. Okay, he's just.
No.
He's going.
Oh, he has
yeah.
Fire Rod now. He's finishing off Skull Woods. That makes sense. That'll be his fourth crystal.
Yeah, Relkin's gonna have a lot easier time with this boss because he can just use the cape and spam sword slashes. Probably you'll save a little bit of time that way as well.
Meanwhile, Azder is just about on Moth, though he's going to have to do this fight with a fighter sword as well. And he doesn't have that much magic for getting off too many fire rod shots. Can you damage Mothula with a fighter sword slash?
Yes, you can. I believe it takes 16 fighter sword slashes to kill Mothula. So it's not very effective, but it's actually just useful for getting him to leave you alone and like go away. But yeah, it's pretty terrible damage.
Yeah, you don't see too many fighter sword moth fights, but Azder does it. Props to him. And Relkin, meanwhile, has picked up that big key and already gotten the 2 items, so... I'm guessing he'll do the put on the cape and slash away strats, since he has the Master Sword, and the cape doesn't use magic while you're continuously slashing with the sword.
Yeah, it uses magic at a very slow rate, so you just sit there and mash your A button. Oh, looks like a little bit of mismenuing there with quick swap. Powdered the spike. Yeah, overall, I would say that this race is kind of starting to come down to just some of those skips that Asder's made, coming back to haunt him, and Relkin being a little bit more thorough outside of that sanctuary check. This race would have been real interesting if that bow was that second bow was somewhere bad, because it would be kind of like a weird, like, who's gonna go check their skipped chest first thing, which, it would be much harder to call.
And azder picks up the second item in Skullwoods, which is just a big 20. And Relkin likewise switching to bow on Vitreous once he gets enough of the small eyeballs down. Oh, azder is checking bumper ledges. He finally gonna check Lumberjack. No. Yes.
He's gonna check it. There we go. It might be a little too late, but yeah, this is great news for him. It at least sets him on the right track, and he avoids the ultra bad plays of going into, say, Ice Palace without a hammer. But yeah, you gotta feel a little bit behind at this point if you just see that, so. And I think that's actually his go mode. Well, he needs a sword still.
Yeah. And speaking of go mode, with Relkin now going to East Death Mountain, he's going to be in go mode in a couple minutes.
Yeah, so azder actually hitting go mode a little bit before Relkin here. But just with the double dip of pod, because he didn't have the hammer, is it's going to cost him some time.
And actually, since Relkin does have the mirror now, he isn't forced to do all of light before all of dark, so it may take him a bit to get to Spiral Cave. And as we know, azder's gonna be in Agate Tower for a bit, given the 7 blue balls.
Yeah, that Aga fight was quite a slow fight, so Relkin already having done it is just going to kind of expand his lead while azder has to sit through this fight.
Oh, and Relkin is going straight for Spiral Cave.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes routers will go over to Hera first, but he's got Dark World access, so his plan was probably to come do this and then go Super Bunny Cave and come back up the mountain. But yeah, this is going to work out for him. He'll hit go mode right here.
Yeah, just over an hour. And now he can fully go mode swamp. He'll probably check some chests along the way just to see if he can get tempered.
Yeah, you're definitely going to do some greed checks here, probably in the diver down room. You might even see like the first chest of swamp checked, but we'll see how much extra stuff he wants to do.
Almost certainly waterfall chest.
Yeah.
And the problem for azder is really just that he's going to have to go all the way back through pod. You know, That's like 2.5 minutes once you get into pod, and you also have to go through the maze to get to pod as well.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely is pretty far behind at this point. So there's not any real way to sugarcoat that. And he also still needs a sword because you can't kill Ganon with fighter sword. But there's probably a sword along the way or somewhere in GT. But yeah, this is he's gonna need a lot of help to pull this one out.
So there's our first lightning, first of 3.
Yeah, a long time ago, the randomizer actually there were not blue balls. The blue balls were basically just disabled completely. That was a good time to be playing.
Did you actually play that long ago?
Yeah, that's when I started playing. And that was also back when progressive swords weren't a thing. So sometimes you just got butter sword like instantly in the first chest. And I was like, oh great, butter sword.
I've heard tell of those days. Azder, I'm sure, remembers them because I know he's been playing Rando since 2016. So down goes Aga.
Yeah, Azder doing some spins along with Aga there.
I'll check Pyramid.
Hopefully he goes to Catfish, but no, pulling out his mirror.
Yeah, when he kept running, I thought, oh, maybe he'll go to Catfish. But no, he was going to get a closer look at the Big 20.
Yeah, I mean, he's in go mode at this point. You can't really... Nobody's just, like, making a random Catfish check. Or he's not in true go mode, he's in sword mode, but... Catfish is kind of out of the way for a one-off check for a sword. Meanwhile, relkin making quick work of Vitreous. He got I believe it was a triple kill on the little puffballs with the Master Sword. That's really hard to pull off, so props to him for that.
Relkin, I said this earlier actually in a match that he was tracking. He does one of the best jobs on Master Sword Ganon of anyone I know. Sorry, Master Sword Argus of anyone I know.
Yeah, and I'm his teammate. I'm probably one of the worst of anyone, you know. That fight, it's just I don't care, just whatever. I'm just gonna keep slashing.
Meanwhile, we have a lot of numbers showing up in chat. GGW, what's with these numbers in chat?
It's the big key guessing game. So each chest in GT, basically, whichever order he checks it in, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 22, you're trying to guess which chest the big key is in. I'm gonna go with I'll go with like 18.
Do you think it's going to be a while?
Let's say it's right side and he goes left side. You know, maximize the chance of a comeback here.
And let's get a nice quick prediction in chat here, just whether you think it's going to be odd or even, you can bet your channel points on.
I'll say odd. You know, hedge my bets a little bit.
There you go. And Relkin checks Super Bunny Cave on the way up, just in case there was a tempered sword there. Oh, he never even checked Floating Island the first time through.
Yeah, I believe Azder did these checks earlier, so there's not going to be any sword here.
So here goes GT being open. Get your last guesses in because we're going to stop the guessing bot as soon as we enter the tower.
All right, gets a small key. Probably going to go right side here.
As Azder takes down Helma King for his 6th crystal.
Oh, Relkin bonked. Didn't have time to get through the door. Has to do all this again and use a potion. That's pretty costly.
That
But
room always trips me up. Like, I have a hard time getting through it in time.
yeah, I feel like maybe you're seeing a little nerves here because he's making a little bit of uncharacteristic execution mistakes. But he does
Yeah.
have like a pretty big cushion here to work with, so.
Oh, well, that was fast.
Yeah, that was pretty fast. And there's a small key in the room, so he can go right on up the climb now. Yeah, 3 was going to be my second guess. Just got unlucky.
Well, you got your hedge at least on your channel points.
That's true. Yeah. Channel points are really what matters.
And congratulations to James Wanders on winning the guessing game. So Relkin already doing the climb as Azder enters Swamp.
Yeah, also already at 1 heart, so he can take the safety door to refill, but he does have to get through these rooms without getting hit. I don't believe he has a fairy. Could be wrong, but I think they only have potions. Yeah, he's just going to use the cape here, do a cape dash. It's not only faster, but it's also safer.
And if he's going into the safety room anyway, he knows he can refill his magic.
Yep. Oh, okay. For a second, it looked like he was going to try to just wing it with 1 heart. That would be pretty bold.
Yeah, he's definitely on nerves with, like, you know, he first tried to hook shot there, and
Yeah, I mean, he's doing the climb at 112, so he's probably he's got a very high chance. Well, he's got to do Master Sword Ganon, so yeah, maybe like around a 120, 121 time, but that's still a super fast time. Especially having to do Aga as well. So yeah, he's on a great pace. This seed has to feel pretty good about his place. Maybe worried a little bit about sword locations because whenever I'm on Master Sword, I'm always worried my opponent found Tempered.
and he just blew through all his magic fighting Landmos. There's a small refill here, but
Yeah, he'll have enough to get through these next 2 rooms with the cane, but then he's gonna have to pick up a magic pot and use the lamp in the next torchlight room. But he's fine.
Azder trying to do diver down without actually jumping in the water, but gets it on his second try.
Yeah, I don't really know how that strat works. I see some people do it. It can be faster for sure. But I don't know the exact technique for like wedging yourself without jumping in the water.
And while I was watching that, I didn't even see relkin get through the first torch room.
Doing some more checks here for a sword.
He's also trying to lay down some bombs because it does help with menuing on the Ganon fight. But he still has 7 bombs left, so I'm not sure how fruitful his efforts to get rid of his bombs will be.
Oh, nope, just a piece of heart.
Azder having another challenging fighter sword boss fight. Definitely in good shape considering his equipment, but still taking a while.
Yeah, he's definitely lost a lot of time just not having. I mean, he didn't even have a sword at all for the blind fight, so the equipment advantage is just another thing that's really worked in Relkin's favor in this run.
But there's Argus down, so at least Azder will be climbing Death Mountain for GT when Relkin drops into Ganon.
Yeah, nice Agahnim fight there. He was able to get one triple, and yeah, off to Ganon.
Yeah, so what's a Master Sword Silverless Ganon fight? Like 4 minutes? Maybe a bit less because Relkin knows the Samaria strats here.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe like 3.5, 4 minutes, something like that, depending on how well you execute.
Yeah, Samaria is a nice strat here. If you block your recoil, you can do the first phase in as little as a 2 cycle, though Relkin wound up taking a 3 cycle on it, and then you can do the second phase in a 1 cycle. We'll see if he gets that.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to do. You have to press a lot of buttons, and I don't see a ton of runners do it, but yeah, it can save you a lot of time. You do have to be careful about your magic resources, because you will still have to do 24 spins. There's no way around that.
At least he has the lamp. He's not depleting it at fire rod pace.
Yeah.
Ganon behaving so far with warps. That was nice. Only 1 extra Ganon warp.
Yeah, Ganon was feeling friendly today. He's got places to be.
And Relkin even gets a Phase 4 spin-off before having to light the torch.
Yeah, that's a tricky strategy. If you miss the torch glitch here with Master Sword, you basically have to reset the fight, because you're just not going to have the magic to get through it with no half magic. And I don't know if he has any more magic potions, but
No, that was his last one. I saw him cycle through a whole bunch of empty bottles before he got the blue goo that he used.
all right, yeah. So he's going to have to use the lamp here. I think you can get triples with the lamp, but it's not only is it difficult, but you need Ganon to cooperate and be in a certain place.
And Azder, unfortunately, going left first, so he's not going to get his big key as fast, but we just found out where Quake was. Oh, Azder going full left. So if you were banking on Azder, you would have gotten your 18.
Yeah, I would have gotten my 18. Unlucky. Yeah, this is just not Azder's night. Kind of everything just not working out. But yeah, GG's to Relkin. Get your GG's in chat. That was a very nice Ganon fight. Gonna get a sub 120 here. Really solid time.
Yeah, he finishes with an official race time of 1:19:13.
And we're joined by Relkin here. GG's, sir. That was a very nice run.
Thank you, GG's.
Do you realize how hard you got bailed out by that bow early on?
No, I did not.
Yeah, so the Sanctuary chest was actually not the map. It was the bow.
Okay. Oh boy. I menued and I was like, I don't see the map. It must be the Sanctuary. Oh no.
Yeah. The map was all the way back in the map chest.
Okay. Wow. Completely did not even realize I already picked up the map. Wow.
And then it was crazy because Azder pulls a green 20 from Bottle Vendor, and we're like, he had the bow from second. We're like, well, that's a 1/3 chance Relkin gets bailed right here.
Yeah, but Azder made some skips too, and ultimately skipping the lumberjack check was really what cost him here. He had the boots and the lamp, but he just opted to go up the mountain. And so he near last located the hammer.
If you're talking, we can't hear you.
Oh, I was just thinking about what to say. I mean, I figured, because I usually check lumberjack early, unless I'm not feeling like it's gonna, like if I'm down in the set or something like that. I did that against hydropower. When I was down 0-1, I decided not to do lumberjack until later. But since it's a new series, I was like, yeah, I'll just do my normal start with lumberjack. I saw the hammer, I was like, wow, for once it's an Agaseed, because I haven't had a single Agaseed this entire tournament.
And then, like, I only just put 2 and 2 together about why you did all of Light East Death Mountain before trying any of Dark Death Mountain. Were you still thinking through this that late in the seed about where the flippers could and couldn't be?
Yes, I was. I did end up checking a couple of quick checks just to see if I could get a sword, like the Mire Shed. Like, I knew it couldn't have flippers, but, you know, certainly a sword could have been there. I decided just to go and skip out on checkerboard. I ended up full clearing Mire, even though that wasn't my intent. The big key was late in the checks, so it ended up being a full clear.
Oh, and Azder has exactly the same bonk problem as Relkin in the torch room in the basement.
Yeah, that's what I get for trying to get for the magic while lighting the torches up. That was that's always risky if you even mess up slightly.
But yeah, you got that glove out of logic on Zoroledge so early. I had forgotten that, you know, clearly the flippers can't be mitts locked.
Yeah, exactly.
So did you feel pretty good during the seed? Are you worried at all about maybe him getting a sword, or you just, I don't know, because it looked like your routing just worked out pretty well for the most part. You didn't really have to double dip anything. You didn't really have to do any unnecessary pendant dungeon dives.
Yeah, I was feeling really good about my routing. Definitely didn't feel bad about the bow and Sanctuary because I completely didn't realize it was there. Yeah, but like you were saying, the sword thing, that was my only worry, is that if I was doing too many checks, none of them worked out. So like, well, if none of these have a sword, I did all these checks for nothing, and it's precious time I could be losing. We'll see how things turn out, but it didn't matter in the end, I guess.
Yeah, speaking of sword checks, azder doing the climb here with still fighter sword, so he is not going to find a sword in upper GT, so that's not good news for him.
Yeah, so Relkin, one other thing I was thinking that worked out quite well for you. After you got the hammer, you're over at Lumberjack, but you decided not to take the Kakariko portal. You instead went back and did Pod and then Hype Cave, and that worked out really well, getting the flute and the fire rod. What was your kind of thought chain for doing things in that order?
I wanted to do Hype Cave as soon as possible, and after getting the hammer, I was like, well, the mountain's right here, I can go ahead and climb it, is convenient enough. And then I just I'll do some basic checks up here that are quick and not heavy committal, since I was still thinking about the flippers even then, since I knew that Dark DM couldn't have had them. So I was like, well, I'm gonna prioritize Pod, and I wanted to do Hype Cave on the way, so I did that immediately after the mountain climb.
Yeah, as I say, it worked out very nicely for you because you then had Fire Rod once you got to Skull Woods.
Yeah, and I was honestly not expecting the Mirror and Bombos to be in the Village of Outcasts. I was thinking about just doing Skull Woods first. I was like, you know what? No, I'll route more efficiently and do Thieves first, and then both Mirror and Bombos were just there.
Yeah, the sea was pretty friendly as long as you got that hammer. None of the item placements literally looked too bad. I guess the swords, actually, to be honest. Catfish is kind of an annoying check. And who knows where these other two are.
Yeah, I actually did. Man, that's interesting, though, that Catfish sword is one of the difference makers here, since I can just, finish the game after the GT climb. It was just my one shot to do it. It was after I killed Aga. That's the most convenient time for me, I felt like, so I just did it. It was a sword. I thought, okay, that's nice, but didn't think about how it might pay off in the long run.
Yeah, it really worked out well, since I liked your kind of thought process there of, well, I know where the hammer is, so I'm not going to go into Pod before I get the hammer, but I'm over here, so I might as well do Catfish.
Yeah, definitely wasn't going to get any faster to do that check, so...
I'm thinking about going back through the seed and figure out where these swords are if we don't find them.
Only 13 bonks, now that's pretty good.
129 collection. That's both pretty nice and impressively high for a sub 120.
Yeah, sub 120 with Master Sword Ganon and Aga required. It's actually a super fast time.
Yeah, it helps that, when you know that the hammer's there early, you can base your routing decisions off of that and make things smoother.
Alright, yeah, so azder opening that chest, getting the bad news that he will have to go hunt down a sword if he wants to finish this out. He is going to be kind of close to Catfish, because this is going to dump him out right on Pyramid, so maybe he goes over there?
I was just going to say, buckle up, this could be a bit.
So yeah, one win away, Relkin, from advancing on the brackets. How you feeling?
Feeling pretty good about my chances. Yeah. Last main tournament, I made the brackets through the loser side. This will be a nice change of pace to make it through winner side if I can help it.
Yeah, I believe that does help with your seeding. So
in SGL, you made brackets as a group runner-up, and that didn't stop you.
Yeah, I made it out of groups as a tie-breaking race winner. That's how that went down.
I forgot you actually had to have a tiebreaker race.
Yeah, lost my first two against Fear and Tevadino, and then won against Flipeel and Kern, and then the stars aligned for the tiebreaker race to happen, and I won it.
So yeah, it just goes to show you don't have to get the top seed out of a group, but it sure doesn't hurt.
But yeah, with the randomizer tournament, it's certainly not as like prevalent or prominent, I should say, of an advantage. It can help in some cases, I guess.
anyone in brackets you'd like to get matched up against?
No one, frankly, because everyone can win. Anyone can win. I'd like to get matched up against myself because that means I win every time.
You'd also lose every time.
Yeah, at least one of me would win.
So do you guys have your second race scheduled?
Yeah, we have actually both the second and third scheduled. Second is Thursday at 8 p.m. and then Friday, if necessary, is at 7 p.m.
Getting progressively earlier each time. And yeah, I don't know how the hydropower versus orange race turned out, but that's something you guys certainly need to keep an eye on, because whichever one of you doesn't advance directly to brackets out of this series is going to have to play the winner of that series.
Okay, let's see here.
Yeah, doing TR checks for a sword feels bad, man.
Yeah, I saw he got the mushroom there. I think the credits said something like it was a boomerang of some sort.
Okay.
So it's not there for sure. It's a weird situation where you can look back on the seat and see where the swords are, and then where this race is kind of still going.
Yeah.
Oh, and it looks like Orange beat Hydropower by almost 5 minutes, so he has a leg up in that series. And apparently that race had kind of late swords as well, according to Zethno in chat, who was one of the comms for it. And to answer a question in chat, finish times don't matter at all. All that matters is your record in groups. So for the group winner, you know, the people who went 4-0 get seated before the 4-1s, who get seated before the 4-2s.
I think I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye here. Thanks for the commentary, Drossi and GGW. And thanks for the tracking, Siriux. Thanks for the restream. See you guys later.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, GG's. Yeah, so respect for azder finishing this out. I personally find sword mode to be probably one of the most frustrating aspects of this game. It's like, you've literally done everything you're supposed to do, and you just need a sword. Come on, man.
Not even checking Mimic Cave.
You might be doing the check the big chest first kind of routing.
Yeah, I guess so.
I feel like at some point, though, you should probably just metagame, because there's no way Relkin got a 119 doing pendant PR.
True.
So there could be a sword in here, but you gotta kind of guess that there's a sword somewhere not too far out of the way with such a fast time.
And I can understand azder playing this out too, because at this point it's just kind of nagging you. Where the heck is another sword?
Yeah, it's just, out of spite. I'm not gonna let the seed win.
So, I don't know, maybe there's a sword on Laser Bridge, because there's always something good on Laser Bridge, right?
Yeah.
Maybe there are two swords on Laser Bridge. I think I've seen that before.
I'm sure you've seen it before. It's probably happened to me. Really nice laser skips here.
Yeah, very clean, and of course it's at the bottom of Laser Bridge.
Yeah, you called it. Yeah, that's a pretty mean location for a sword. Last chest of Laser Bridge.
But yeah, as you were saying about metagaming, I mean, he can be pretty sure that's not where Relkin got his second sword.
Yeah, there's no way you get a 119. You get that sword.
And we'll see how he does. He's not using the Cane of Samaria to prevent recoil, so
yeah, a lot of people don't. It's a pretty tough trick. If you haven't practiced it and you don't know exactly where to stand, especially with hard standard, like you will just get one shot if you walk into Ganon, and these bats take out your health really fast.
Oh yeah, well, with Green Mail, azder's currently at 7 hearts because that's what you get when you save and quit. Yeah, that's Oko territory for Ganon Hugs. But safely on to phase 3.
All right.
Oh, this should be a nice triple.
Yeah.
It's always nice when you can get a triple using lamp.
Yeah, I think he has to go to the corner, kind of right where you light the lamp in order to get the timing, but...
Yeah. Wonder where that half magic was.
Yeah, that would have been another nice item.
Probably Ice Palace or something. That's always a bit dicey when you do the spin that close to the edge. You have to make sure you're positioned so you're not going to bounce into the hole.
Yeah, I think you can like hold the other direction and it'll kind of do the like, oh, watch out, but you don't actually fall off. But I think I know I've seen some people like, oh, anyway, yeah, GG's to azder, gets the last spin off. Pretty solid Master Sword Ganon fight there.
And that's an official race time of 1:39.24. So we'll see if he wants to interview after that.
Yeah, I mean that race is pretty clear what happened there, but no hard feelings if he doesn't want an interview. So let's check out the schedule while we're waiting here. There any more?
Well, I know the next thing on this channel is going to be a little past midnight Eastern. We've got a very late game going on. And that'll be Sailor Net versus Purdy Wong, two names you would not expect to see in the loser bracket.
Oh wow, yeah, I wouldn't. That's pretty crazy.
But yeah, amazingly enough, one of them is going to be eliminated from the tournament in this series. So definitely want to check that out in a little over an hour here as they fight to stay alive. Over on SpeedGaming 3, you can also catch the tail end of P-Train versus Emo Saru in the winner's bracket. And then we've got another pretty full day tomorrow. Those are the only remaining races that are getting restreamed tonight. There are also a number of races going on right now without restreams, which you can check on our lovely schedule, which our lovely tracker, SeryuX, has put in chat. Still no sign of azder, so he may just not want to interview at this point.
Yeah, I just messaged on race time, so we'll see. I'll give him maybe another 30 seconds. But yeah, that's understandable. Honestly, he played pretty well. Just that one skip just really costing him a lot of time. And maybe make some adjustments and play a little more safe in the next race.
And as always, anything can happen in that next race.
Yeah, azder's a great runner, so don't let the times fool you. He can absolutely come back and still win this. So relkin's got to be on his feet.
Yeah, we'll just let the credits run through here, since there's nothing immediately following on the channel. When's your own next race, by the way?
My next race is probably going to be on Friday at like 1, or I think it's like 4 p.m. Eastern or something like that. I don't know. I'm against Shiva Hayes, who's in EU time, so gonna have to do it in the morning there.
Oh, that explains why you're waiting until basically the weekend. Those 9-hour time differences are a pain.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably just gonna have to. I mean, I work from home, thankfully, so I can kind of just like time shift around. But yeah, I'm just gonna try to do most of the races on the weekend. Yeah, that'll be a tough race because he's actually a pretty solid runner. I know he's like a good NMG player as well. So, you know, if he hits a good route, like probably won't be able to beat him. So. All right. Well, yeah, I don't think he's gonna be joining us for an interview. Haven't heard any word from him, and is not joining the booth here. So.
Yeah, I guess we'll say goodnight and let the credits finish themselves then. Again, thank you to our tracker, SarahUX, who has been doing so much in chat right now. And of course, give the runners a follow. You definitely want to see the rest of their series. And remember, whoever loses this series does have another chance next week. They're not out of the tournament. And yeah, GGW, it was fun working with you.
Yeah, it's always a pleasure to do comms with you and watch these great runners. Yeah, it's been fun.
And be sure to come back here in an hour for that SailorNet versus Purdy Wong race.